Sounds good. Thank
And
you, Taylor.
yeah, thank
And
you.
thank you, Spencer, for the invitation. Looking forward to this presentation on our Houston Methodist and Rice University Digital Health Institute. And the topic is how to invest in the augmented clinician, who is the clinician of the future, augmented by AI and digital health tools. And I'll share some examples of how we are bringing this to life at Houston Methodist today. And in terms of my background, I've been in the digital health industry for 11 years now. After getting my MBA from Harvard Business School, I did my first job at Brigham and Women's Hospital, setting up the Brigham Innovation Hub back in 2014 to similarly accelerate commercialization of early stage ideas from the thousands of doctors and research scientists that had ideas for new inventions, new platforms, but needed some seed funding and connections and matchmaking with investors and industry to bring those to the patient bedside faster. And then I also led innovation and research in Baltimore for Sinai Hospital and co-founded an investment and incubator program with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Maryland. So fast forward to the Digital Health Institute. We are a relatively new organization that was launched in December 2024, uniting two powerhouses here in the Houston, Texas ecosystem. One is Rice University and our engineering programs, and combining all of that expertise in engineering, AI, and data science in our labs with a leading healthcare system provider across the street, which is Houston Methodist, which has really invested in data science and data infrastructure for decades since the 1990s. And through this partnership, our goal is to really increase the number of research collaborations between Rice and Houston Methodist in digital health, but also translate and develop new products and services that can get to patients faster. And for that part, we really rely on venture studios like Summit, and I'll share an example of the first digital health spinout that was licensed to Summit and how we're working on scaling that in the market. And we also rely on industry partners like pharma, biotech, and tech companies that are interested in sponsored research or co-development opportunities where we can refine algorithms, wearables, remote patient monitoring solutions at the early stage with leading clinical expertise and validation and engineering expertise. And we recently launched our website this summer, so encourage you to take a look. It's hmrdhi.org, and we list some of our assets that we offer, as well as 13 examples of active research collaborations that are supported by the DHI today. So both organizations have really prioritized digital health and AI. So Dr. Mark Boom is our president for Houston Methodist. He's described this as the most transformative endeavor in our shared commitment. And Reggie DeRoche is our Rice University president, and he has built out the 10-year strategic plan for Rice University that includes responsible AI as one of the top mission pillars for Rice's future. So this institute really addresses both the clinical side and the AI from an educational perspective and from engineering perspective as well. A little bit about our leadership team. We're very blessed to have many years of experience from Dr. Khurram Nasser, who is a cardiologist and a leading publisher of digital health. We also have Dr. Ashu Sabharwal, who was the chair of engineering for 20 plus years at Rice University and is now fully focused on the Digital Health Institute. Myself, with my background, and Dr. Stephen Jones, who leads our health data science analytics group, which really manages the data infrastructure, sandboxes, and research efforts all over Houston Methodist, and is also an integral part of our DHI partnership with Rice. So what are some of the major focus areas for our research, for R&D in digital health? It's not just AI. AI is an important component. We have a number of projects that are developing, testing, and refining novel AI algorithms, mainly for early diagnosis and improved detection for cancer, infectious diseases, and cardiovascular diseases. But we also have predictive analytics that are focused on real-time monitoring to predict and prevent events such as strokes and heart failure. We have Rice engineering faculty that are inventing new sensors and wearables. So hardware is part of our institute as well. Personalized medicine is a big direction that AI and digital health is taking healthcare in, where we can combine your personal medical history with genomic data, radiomics data, multimodal inputs to create individualized health profiles and treatment plans as a result. Another exciting part of Rice's engineering program is that we have faculty members that are developing new imaging technologies that can see deeper inside the human body and provide new diagnostic capabilities for our clinicians. And finally, proactive care is a big push as well within the industry overall. So we have a number of projects focused on developing mobile apps that are driven by AI so that patients that have diabetes or heart disease or obesity can be more informed and more empowered to take control of their lifestyle and have access to clinicians from the comfort of their homes outside the hospital. So in terms of what the DHI offers in terms of our assets and infrastructure, we think about it in three ways. So the first is data compute, second is people and expertise, and then the third is the commercialization platform. On the data side, we have been creating a team of data engineers and data scientists to support our research collaborations. We have customized data sets for research using Epic EMR data. We're getting a lot of demand for imaging data as well, which can be a little bit more complex in terms of de-identification, but it's an important component of a lot of our projects. We also invested in an NVIDIA DGX supercomputer, which will be going live next month, which we're very excited about. On the people side, we have 20 professors at Rice University that are part of DHI and hundreds of PhD and undergrad students. On the Houston Methodist side, we've already engaged 23 doctors that are, some of them are chairs of their departments and national and global experts in their area of clinical expertise. And we're also developing a network list of subject matter experts that can provide us with regulatory and compliance advice that can help us with commercialization. So that's an important part of the DHI to really engage Texas Medical Center innovation. We are the largest medical center in the world in terms of volume. So that means that we have incredible diversity of patients, high volume, really rich data, and really strong collaborators here in the medical center. Outside of Houston Methodist, we have Baylor, Texas Children's, MD Anderson. So it's truly a treasure trove of clinical expertise and data. On the commercialization side, this is the part that we are still developing. We're working closely with our tech transfer offices for both Rice and Houston Methodist to explore opportunities for licensing and spinning out companies. We have had 3 companies from Rice University that have spun out over the last couple of years in diagnostics. Another one is in pulmonary. It's a digital education tool that helps with respiratory function. And we have MAPS, which I'll talk about at the end, which is our first spin out from Houston Methodist. But we are actively exploring co-development opportunities with industry partners. I would say our ideal partner is a company that already has a proven prototype or proven product that is getting traction in the market, and they're looking to access our data and our expertise to develop new products and refine algorithms or diagnostics with our partnership. And then funding opportunities, we're building out our network of VCs and looking at SBIR funding opportunities for our early stage projects as well. So in terms of the data aspect that I covered, Houston Methodist really stands out because they started investing in the 1990s in data infrastructure. So we're able to offer longitudinal data on more than 6 million patients, 79 million healthcare encounters, and 1.3 billion clinical facts. This is over 20 years, and we are able to offer multimodal inputs and secure data integration via HIPAA-compliant infrastructure. And this gives us the opportunity to deploy real-world data-driven innovations. So we're able to look at prospective data as well as retrospective data through our infrastructure. What this offers industry partners is the opportunity to test products and apply tools to the bedside in validated high acuity care environments, innovate with a post-discharge focus, explore the full breadth of digital tools, and accelerate clinical adoption. So for many companies that approach us, the big goal is getting Houston Methodist as a clinical customer, which is an important step for any company because it offers clinical traction. But there's a lot of research and co-development opportunities that we can do together with the DHI as well as part of that journey. Finally, we have a rich and growing portfolio of intellectual property that we are looking to either license or spin out with industry partners. We have a rich pipeline of $80 million in research grant submissions that can benefit our industry partners and two very strong tech transfer offices as well. So now moving on to the Rice side, this is the roster of experienced engineering professors across electrical and computer engineering, mechanical, computer science, and stats. And we have a lot of young faculty that are really hungry for collaboration opportunities and moving through the tenure track pathway. Rice has also invested outside of people in lab space and office space with 10,000 square feet of space here in the medical center. I'm in the BRC building, which is the Biosciences Research Collaborative building. We have state-of-the-art imaging capability, fabrication capabilities, and computing infrastructure in this building and on another O'Connor building on the Rice campus. So where Rice engineering really differentiates itself at a national level is in imaging, bioelectronics, next-gen wearables and point-of-care devices, as well as miniature bioimagers and electromechanical. And the spin-out that I referred to earlier is Cognita Labs that has multiple products with FDA approval, and they are already deployed in over 15 countries internationally. It provides COPD management for lung patients, and they're being used by over 40,000 patients. So it's a great example of the global ambitions of the Digital Health Institute. Rice has set up satellite campuses in India and in France. So we really want Digital Health Institute to be a leader, not just in the US, but globally as well. Rice also has deep expertise in health AI with our proximity to the Texas Medical Center in these areas around developing predictive algorithms and identifying new biomarkers and patient phenotyping from large multimodal data. So I talked already a little bit about ways to engage with the DHI. This could be through sponsored research, or it could be through co-development, where we co-develop new products and technologies together, and shared risk and reward and a faster path to market are some of the benefits of this pathway, or the traditional licensing pathways are also available. We recently hosted our inaugural Digital Health Summit on October 8th, and Taylor was one of our venture panelists. We had 350 people register. I think we had 250 to 300 people attend. It was a great success. We got lots of positive reception from the Texas Medical Center ecosystem and shared expert presentations, which will be available on our website hopefully this week. And I can share a link with Summit Ventures once that is available online. So now I'm going to shift to a little bit more, now that you have a background about the DHI, about the topic of the augmented physician and how you can invest in this and where we are seeing real world deployments and where we're seeing impact on healthcare outcomes or patient experience. So physicians are already showing more positive sentiments and increased enthusiasm towards AI. The AMA did a survey last year in 2024 and found that 2 out of 3 physicians are using AI, and that number has definitely grown in 2025. some of the key needs that physicians communicated that they're looking for in order to build trust and advance adoption are designated channels for feedback, so keeping the human in the loop at all times, data privacy assurances, which are super important in any type of healthcare setting, seamless workflow integration with Epic, which is our EMR system, so that it doesn't add to the data burden that clinicians already have, but rather saves them time. There's this concept of clinical subtraction where we're trying to reduce the number of data boxes or checks that clinicians need to do. So we can use ambient technology and AI to really summarize lots and lots of clinical data and make it insightful and condensed for the benefit of the clinician. They're also looking for training and education, which is great for the Digital Health Institute since we have Rice University that can provide master's level, professional level education on AI and digital health and oversight and governance. And so Houston Methodist has set up an AI governance committee that meets on a monthly basis to review new AI pilots and share information from the market and from regulators so that our leaders can stay up to date. So I'll go through 5 examples fairly quickly, and then we can leave time for questions that Houston Methodist has already deployed. So the first theme of this slide is predictive and proactive care. So Houston Methodist partnered with a startup called Medical Informatics Corp and their product, which is called SickBay, to do the world's biggest MIC SickBay implementation in our virtual ICU. This was in 2020, right before the COVID pandemic, 2019 to 2020. So Houston Methodist was very lucky, I guess, but also really wise in its timing and implementation. So Houston Methodist clinicians worked with MIC to develop over 20 algorithms that provided fast-paced, immediate ICU-level care to patients via virtual nurses, and initial outcomes showed that codes decreased by 37% by monitoring virtually and catching potential issues earlier. If any of you ever come to Houston, I'll be happy to give you a tour of our virtual ICU. It's incredible to see it in action. There's cameras in all the rooms, and it's being staffed by virtual nurses and supplemented by the AI for predictive capabilities and catching any potential issues earlier. The second example is with a company called Pieces. And so first I'll talk about the reason why we needed a solution here. We have very busy emergency rooms, high surgical volume, and capacity-filled medical and post-surgical units that generate vast amounts of documentation. So at Houston Methodist, a 10-day stay result can result in 3,000 pages of records, from clinical notes to medication history to testing and procedure outcomes. So we worked with a company called Pieces that uses natural language processing, or NLP, to automatically pull insights from these notes and create a 3-page summary for discharge planning, identifying any discharge barrier, and AI-generated notes. Our experience found that these required edits less than 5% of the time, so the quality is really strong, and the program found 34,000 barriers to discharging patients within just 1 month of implementation. That's really important because discharge management is a huge reason why throughputs can be longer than necessary for hospital patients. And anytime we can use technology to supplement the human side of discharge management can result in improved patient experiences, improved care because the patients are being managed more appropriately. This program also identified a subset of patients that had more than 5-fold risk of ICU transfer. So we're able to focus on that patient subset more quickly and accurately using this technology. These are some screenshots and visuals to show you what Pieces has been able to create. This is a Gen AI platform, so it provides a concise summary for discharge planning, identifying the discharge barriers, and AI-generated notes in a very concise fashion. So it's really reducing that clinical burden, that theme of clinical subtraction using AI and digital technology. Now moving on to the second theme, which is ambient intelligence. I'll share 2 examples that we're working with here in Houston Methodist. The goals for identifying a vendor here was reducing cost and turnover times, preventing loss of high valuable items across our hospital system, improving patient transport times and accurate surgical start times, and recognizing high performance by tracking efficiency metrics. So first, we worked with a company called Appella.ai that uses cameras and AI technology to track everything that's in an operating room, ranging from start times to surgical instruments being used. We started this as a pilot in 30 operating rooms, and some of the success metrics include improved supply chain ROI, reducing operating room costs, and increasing surgeon satisfaction. The second example is with a company called Care.ai, where we use their video and audio monitoring devices autonomously to collect data, reduce time and resources spent on manual processes. Some of the key use cases are monitoring patient fall prevention, clinical documentation, and hand hygiene. The third theme is around remote patient monitoring, and the goals here were for streamlining workflow, reducing hospital stays and costs, empowering clinical teams and patients with actionable data, and personalizing care. A McKinsey study found that up to $265 billion of care services are projected to shift from traditional facilities like hospitals to the home by 2025, making remote monitoring essential. This is one of my favorite examples where we partnered with a company called BioIntelliSense to put bio buttons, which are FDA cleared wearable medical devices, on our patients during their hospital stay that can automatically collect vital signs, capturing up to 1,440 sets of vital sign measurements per day. This is also passive, so you don't have to now wake up patients in the middle of the night to get their vitals. They are getting it through the bio buttons that are placed on the patient. So this leads to higher patient satisfaction. It also allows us to get continuous monitoring on respiratory rates, heart rates, and temperatures at a fraction of the cost of manual vital sign collection, which is done 4 to 6 times per day in the old model. Finally, I'll share the example of MAPS, which is from a company called Salus, which is the first digital health spin-out from Houston Methodist, focused on preventing medication errors, which is the third largest cause of death in the United States. This was co-founded by Brian Parrish and Lou Mazukar from Houston Methodist, and they developed a clinical decision platform that integrates with our EHR system to reduce medication errors, enhance patient safety, and improve care outcomes. And it's designed for pharmacists, physicians, and nurses by a clinical team. And they provide real-time alerts, a simple scoring system, and actionable insights to streamline medication management. So they were able to secure a licensing agreement with Summit Venture Studio last year, and a pilot is underway at Houston Methodist. And we've been working with them here at DHI to make introductions to new health systems in New York, Boston, Baltimore, California, because we are really excited about a clinical team developing their own innovation and going on this commercialization journey. And that's inspiring a lot of other Houston Methodist doctors and staff to say, how can I come up with my own innovation and my own spin out or licensing with industry partners? So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your time, and happy to go into any Q&A.
Pothik, thanks so much. Great presentation. We've got some good questions in the chat. One of them, maybe that you can just start with, most recent, Jonathan asked, do you see more success with startups led by clinicians or pure tech founders?
I see the most success where you have both, right? You have the balance of the clinical founder with a tech or product expert that has some experience commercializing health IT or medical devices prior. That's the most effective team because they're able to speak both languages of medicine to help bring in the clinical champions from health system. But on the tech side, they can talk about how they fit into the tech stack, how they will integrate into the EMR, and also do fundraising and be able to identify partners that can help grow the company.
Awesome. I would agree. In our experience, it's really nice to have both the inventor or clinician as well as more of a business founder. Jordan asked Pothik, do you see smaller clinician or smaller clinics being able to adopt this kind of tech, or is it still mostly just big hospital territories right now?
Great question. So in terms of investing millions of dollars in digital health infrastructure, creating the data lakes and having cloud computing all integrated together, buying supercomputers, this is still the domain of the larger health systems like Cleveland Clinic, Mayo, ourselves, Mass General and Brigham in Boston, Stanford. These require significant capital investments upfront and the ROI could take a longer time. So you're still seeing it in the academic medical centers and larger health systems. However, for the smaller health systems and clinics, I always tell entrepreneurs that those are sometimes the best places to pilot your digital innovations because the longer timelines that it takes dealing with large academic medical centers and large health systems is not there. You're able to move a lot faster as long as you're able to identify the return on investment and prove that there will be some positive impact on patient outcomes or patient experience. For example, before I came here, I was leading innovation and research at Sinai Hospital in Baltimore, which is part of LifeBridge Health. And we were able to move through pilots and contracts in a much faster way because our focus was patient care and patient volume. We were not encumbered with a medical school or research priorities, so that helped us be more nimble. So there's pros and cons on both sides.
With the data that you're talking about there, Pothik, a couple of kind of general question themes that I'm seeing in the Q&A around what you're able to provide both internally, but probably for this group more externally. Is there availability from the outside of Houston or HMH and Rice to access the data lakes or any of the data for clinical trials or anything like that through this program?
Yes, there is. So we are offering that to industry partners through co-development agreements or for research sponsorships. And that is the whole reason why the data infrastructure was set up so that we can take the insights from our research collaborations and really amplify them and lead to commercialization faster. We're being very selective in that process. We are not as interested in pure sales strategies where a company is looking to get Houston Methodist as a customer. We're more interested as a research institute on the science and actually identifying new biomarkers for cardiovascular disease, for example, or working with a medtech company to take some of the wearables inventions from our labs and figure out what are the right use cases and where is the consumer demand coming from. Those are the types of examples where we see mutual value in sharing data and sharing our research.
That's good. Appreciate the clarification there. Matt asked, how would you compare your work with respect to Google's Verily? Are you familiar
Oh,
with?
that interesting question. Yeah, I'm familiar with Google Verily. Um, a little different in the sense that we are academic and healthcare collaboration. So our goals are mainly on the R&D side. With Google Verily, I see them as definitely a market leader for Gen AI tools, and applying them to healthcare. I believe they had some type of partnership with Mayo in the past as well, but I have not worked directly with them here or in my previous experiences. But as in terms of research, in terms of shaping the market, they're definitely a group that we all look to as we're doing research on new innovations.
Cool, thanks. We're coming to the end of the time that we've got. So last question here, Pothik. If you were to identify or list 3 problems or challenges in the digital healthcare space that the DHI would be best suited to address, or that you think should be addressed with this new collaboration, what would those problem statements be, or what problems do you see in the market that you would really like to have addressed with this new program?
Wow, that's a really good question. The first problem that comes to mind is the reduction of the clinical burden. We have shortages of doctors, nurses, techs, and we are trying to use AI and technology to really scale and automate those tasks as much as possible so that our clinicians can return to the human side of patient care, which is why they did all their training and sacrificed all those years. That's, I would say, the number one most critical issue that we're looking to solve. The second is, I guess, more from an intellectual standpoint, because we have access to billions of healthcare encounters and data, there's a real desire to come up with actionable insights from that data that can actually influence treatment plans, segment patients better that are at higher risk, and come up with new outcomes as a result of analysis of our AI algorithms, NLP, machine learning on the data. And there's a real urgency to that. One, in terms of there's a global race for who can train algorithms and come up with new wearable tools that clinicians actually respond to and take into account in their appointments with patients. Because right now, if you go in with an Apple Watch, they're going to say, that's nice, but we still need to run all these tests. It hasn't reached the level of clinical standards yet. So I think there's a real desire and urgency around taking the data and converting it into meaningful insights that actually transform patient care. Those are the top 2 kind of challenges that come to mind. I think the third for me is breaking down silos that exist in the healthcare industry overall. And the Digital Health Institute is perfectly positioned to already break down the silo between academia and healthcare provider systems. But then there's that third element, which is the private market that includes both companies that are making products and services, as well as venture investors and venture studios that are funding it. By breaking down the silos, my hope is that the Digital Health Institute can really prioritize the top opportunities and take it to market and get it to patients faster. Right now, it's a long process with regulatory requirements. There's lack of information about what companies' priorities are, what healthcare systems' priorities are, where academic research is headed. So DHI is trying to break down those barriers and build bridges so that information can flow faster and meaningful investments can be made that improve our healthcare and our children's healthcare.
That's a great list. Thank you. Um, if anyone in this group wants to connect with you or has additional questions on how to engage or work with DHI, what's the best path for them to go down?
Sure, you can email me at pothik@rice.edu, and I will be happy to connect and learn more about your organization, your innovation, and see if there might be an opportunity for us to collaborate.
Awesome. That's perfect. So it looks like, Pothik, you put your email in the chat. Thank you. We'll share this recording and presentation out to all the attendees. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at Summit, or Pothik if you've got questions around DHI and what he presented today. Thank you so much for your time today, Pothik. This was awesome. And really look forward to working with you more, and appreciate you sharing with the group today.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks all. We'll see you all next week, same time. Looking forward to it, and thanks for being here. We'll see you.